my name is Clady and welcome back to another episode of Search for the Novelty. But today I want to do things a little bit differently. I was to open up some new makeup releases that I haven't saved to my phone lately. Those actually the makeup that I want. I find that it would be nice if I could own them. In fact, it would be very lovely if I could get a chance to buy them, and I think that I would enjoy using them. I don't do this as an anti-haul, but I do this as a reminder that I already have the makeup that I want, kind of a thing. But the trick here is that I will pull out some of the new makeup that I buy. So finding new makeup in the new makeup that I actually bought but haven't tested yet. It sounds complicated, but let's just jump right in the first item. You will understand what I mean. And also, Black Friday is around the corner. Today, when I film this video, is Thursday, Thanksgiving Day. We don't actually celebrate Thanksgiving in Australia, so yeah, doesn't have anything to do with me. But Black Friday is tomorrow, and I do want to place some orders. I do want to buy some things, but so far nothing yet. Just the makeup that I bought for my trip to Vietnam. Also, like other gifts that I buy for myself because 4th of November, that's my birthday. So far I still have a lot to test out, but not yet. I haven't bought anything from the Black Friday sale yet, but I'm tempted. There haven't been many complexion products because I think we're still in the same holiday makeup vibe. So I guess in a way, powder, concealer, foundation would not fit into that atmosphere of like sparkling green, red, colorful, fun, cool, interesting, something that you could theme it according to the holidays. So I don't actually have any complexion product. I actually tried this Dior Backstage Flash Perfector concealer just then, and I mean, first application is quite nice. I got the shade 1W. It claims to be full coverage. I don't think it's that full coverage, but I would prefer a medium coverage concealer either way, so I think this is quite lovely, but I will test it some more. So maybe just start with the blush and bronzer. I have this Ambient Lighting Edit palette from Hourglass. Yes, I did talk about the what's it, like the dragon, the lotus, and the evil eye face palettes from Hourglass in my last video, and I don't know why this year they decided to do two separate collections, but they are all this Ambient Lighting Edit palette. But this is the palette I actually want. They have two palettes actually. They call it Volume 1 and Volume 3. They are both $90 each. That's still a very hefty price tag for me, and it would take me a while to come to the decisions to buy this palette. But I'm looking at this palette. I don't know whether it's the Volume 3 or the Volume 2 palette. It's the one right here with a lighting powder, a stroke powder, 3 blushes, I believe, and 1 lighting bronzer. Wow, the writing is really small, and I don't wear my glasses right now. That's why I'm struggling. I want this palette because I think the bronzer looks really nice, and I definitely want to try the Ambient Lighting bronzer from Hourglass. Of course, it's like a cult favorite up to this moment already. And you have the blush, the Mood Exposure shade. I saw it in store at Mecca, and it's such a beautiful like cool tone mauve color, which which is my favorite blush color at the moment, and the at shade, which is like a red berry burgundy shade. And because it has this like marbled effect, so it's not just the red shade, it mixed with some golden champagne highlighting kind of powder, so I feel like it won't be such a pigmented formula. I'm curious of that marbled effect on the pan. How would it be translated on the skin? I want to try the formulation just to test my theory. Is it the thing that I think it will be? And the two lighting powder, actually I don't really care about the highlighter. Like I like a highlighter, but it's just not on my priority list to try an Hourglass highlighter. The lighting powder, I believe is it a setting powder? Looking at this photo, I don't think it's my shade is a setting powder or like a finishing powder, but I can definitely use either the lighting powder or the stroke powder as a bronzer topper, or like a sheer kind of highlighting bronzers, like a hybrid between a highlighter and a bronzer. I mean, realistically, the other palette would be more to my shade, because the lighting powder is actually like a setting powder for me. It has two lighting powders, ethereal light and soft light, so those two, I think at least one would work on my skin is a finishing powder. But I don't want that palette, because the two blushes, they look extremely pouring. They are kind of this like rosy, peachy, corally shade, and I'm not a huge fan of that kind of blush. I could use them, but I think I would get more use out of a deeper palette. Looking at Hourglass ambient lighting palettes in general, I think I could get more use out of the deeper palettes. Like looking at the shade, looking at the selections of blushes and bronzer. Maybe because my priority is not this finishing powder, so anything that's a bit deeper on the spectrum of the blush and the bronzer would be more ideal for me, because I feel like I would fit better for the deeper tone palette. Like sometimes when they design a palette for lighter skin, they put a lot of pink, a lot of rosy colors, a lot of peachy shades in those palettes, because statistically those are better, or like it would fit the majority of people who has light to medium skin tone, which is fair enough. That's how the majorities work. Like that, what majority means, like you have to design something that benefit the majority, the people who could actually use it. But I think I'm a bit of an outlier. Like the deeper blush, the mauvey tone, the cooler tone blushes, something that's a bit more punchy. I feel like that's how I want to layer my complexion products. So if I got a chance to choose a face palette, looking at the selections of color, I would pick the one that's for medium to deeper skin tone. It happened to me a lot of the times that it comes to this recognition that the next time that I purchase a face palette, I should just like looking for the deeper options. And now looking at the new makeup that I already obtained in my collections, I don't have anything close to those colors, but formula wise, I guess this bronzer, I don't know, like the bronzer in the Hourglass palette, it looks quite warm tone. This one is a rosy tone bronzer, but it has this gel to powder. I would bet that it's quite similar to the back formula from Hourglass. This is the ReMès Beauty ReDimension Hydra bronzer. I got the shade Beackwalk Betty. It always takes me so long to pronounce that name, and like I have to really take it slow. But this is a shimmering bronzer, so I think I would want to use it right now. Maybe it's similar to the Shimmering bronzer in the Hourglass palette. In terms of blush, I don't have any new blushes in my collections that would resemble the Mood Exposer and the At Night colors in the Hourglass palette. So I think I may want to use this Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Low Blush. I got this at 52 Ecstasy. This is not like new to me. I've used it a couple of times already, but I bought it recently. And it has this very thin silky texture. It's not shimmering, so it wouldn't give me like a shimmering finish compared to the Ambient lighting formula from Hourglass. But mixing it with this bronzer, I think the finish would be somewhat similar. But this is my channel, my rule. I'm just trying to bridge the gap here. So I'm going in with the bronzer. This bronzer is phenomenal. It's one of the best bronzers in my collection, if not the best. I just adore the color and also the finish. This is one of the bronzers that didn't disappoint me in terms of tones, because a lot of bronzer for lighter skin, they lean very orange and yellow, especially with bronzers when the finish is a bit glowy, it's a bit sand, and up to the point that it's a bit shimmering. They tend to put a lot of like golden shimmering particles in it that makes it look very yellow in a way. And yeah, sometimes the formulation is not fine, it's not refined enough, and you can see the actual particles on your skin, and it looks like vibrantly yellow. I don't like that effect at all. This is definitely a bronzer for lighter skin, but with the rosy undertone, I feel like, oh, it's like a new breeze, like a fresh air to my makeup collection, that I don't have to struggle with yellow shimmering bronzer anymore. And I think they did a very good job with like medium to deeper skin tone when they have a lot of red undertone bronzers, because going to that territory, I don't know, I don't have any experience working on people with darker skin tone. I never actually do makeup on other people before, so I don't know what would be the most flattering shade of bronzer on darker skin tone people. But the general idea is that they do a lot of red, pink undertone bronzer for deeper skin tone, and yellower, more orange, more warm, lighter bronzer. And having a bronzer like this would be very beneficial for people with lighter skin tone who have like an olive undertone or like a cool undertone, when they want to go a step further from a neutral bronzer. Neutral bronzer already exists, but maybe they want a rosy bronzer for lighter skin tone. And on the other end of the spectrum, darker skin tone people, they would want something that's a bit more neutral but not too red. I'm going in with the blush. It's very pigmented. It is kind of like the Barbie, very plastic pink. Like, I don't know why, like every time I look at this kind of pink, I feel like there's something industrial, something very manufactured, something like plasticky about it. Yeah, maybe like some toy packaging, some plastic toy packaging has this kind of color, I don't know. But this formulation is very silky. I don't know what it would actually mean in terms of the texture of a powder product, but when it goes on my skin, I feel like, oh, it's kind of silky. Yeah, I get what you mean. It's very thin and it's very subtle in a way. Like, I can build it out, I can sheer it out. It has a little bit of a glow in it, not too much, and the color is vibrant enough. It creates enough of contrast on my skin that makes me feel like I'm wearing good makeup, like I'm wearing luxury, I'm wearing high quality makeup. Sometimes with natural colors on my skin, when I say natural color, it is based on my undertone, which is yellow to neutral. For example, like a neutral peach or like a neutral pink. When I look on my skin, it would look like I'm wearing nothing because it fades into my skin tone and it fades into my undertone. It's still pretty, but sometimes I want a little bit of contrast. I want to look like I'm wearing maybe subtle stage makeup. Like I want to look like I'm wearing a hot pink blush, like what I'm doing at the moment. And now looking back at the Hourglass palette, maybe if I put the bronzer on and then I mix the two shades, I mix Mood Exposure and At Night, it will be the look that I get, maybe. And there's another blush in this palette. It's called Lucid Glow. I don't know. It's a peachy blush. Like I will use it, but do I enjoy the color? It's just not the color that I look at and I feel like, oh, this is so nice, like I want to touch it right away. It's more of a utility blush, like, oh, you in my palette, I don't mind using you, I know that you're good. But it's linked to the natural color theory that I just talked about. Sometimes those colors on my skin, they would look too diluted. They look like they dissolve into my skin and I look naturally flush. I don't look like I'm wearing a vibrant blush. It's not a bad thing, just not what I want. Okay, let's talk about this very expensive highlighter. It's from HERMÈS. Forgive me if I don't know how to pronounce this brand because I don't feel the need to. I don't think that there would be a point when I could buy makeup at this price point. You know what I mean? This is the, once again, Plein Air 24 Faubourg Face and Eye Illuminating Powder. I don't know how to speak French. It's a limited edition, I would say, highlighter. It's a pink, rosy, has a little bit of a grayish, purplish, lilac-y undertone. It looks phenomenal. So this powder pays tribute to the HERMÈS store at the somewhere. Features an iconic compressed design that can be applied to the face, eye, or décolleté. Is that your collarbone? I have no idea. Its fine, silky, soft texture has a metallic shimmer that leaves a rosy, luminous veil on the skin, pleasant pink finish. So this is like not a warm tone pink, it's a cool tone pink. That's why it's so intriguing for me, and I feel like the finish is not too shimmering. It's a maybe like drier, like this kind of a sandy kind of texture on the surface. Maybe there's like an overspray on it by the look, but that actually the formulation that I enjoy using in a highlighter. And the packaging is definitely high-end. It's like the luxury of all the luxury. It's so sophisticated, and the fan embossing is actually like I said, the flagship store. Something like iconic about it, something that's, oh, could be an heirloom pieces that I can give to my daughter or my granddaughter or something. That's how precious it looks to me. It costs 180 Australian dollar. It's available in Australia, but it costs 180 Australian dollars. I don't know. Depending on the country that you live in, anything exists 100 Australian dollars to me is too out of reach in terms of makeup. Like makeup should be way over 100 Australian dollars. This one, 180. I mean, no offense, but it does reminds me of this Essence Gimme Glow Luminous highlighter, like the tone of the makeup. And also, this has a cute enough fancy embossing, not the MS flagship store, but the fan embossing is cute enough, giving me that rosy glow, pearlescent finish. And this is a natural highlighter, so it's not shimmering, it's not sparkly or anything. It's like a glow powder type of a highlighter. But today, because we're testing new makeup, I'm not gonna use that Essence highlighter. I love that one. I'm actually gonna use the Stila Heaven's Hue highlighter. This product, it exists for a while already. It has been there. But I've been wanting to try it. It's like it's a unique texture. I'm gonna show you in a while. I got the shade Kin. I don't know. It's a putty kind of a formulations, I would say. But the color, I can see why there's a little bit of a similarity between the color of this highlighter to the Hermès one. We'll see. Okay. It's a bit warmer than the highlighter. I think I got the shade, yeah, Lovely Rose, so it's a pink rosy highlighter. This Essence highlighter. This one, wow, it's like it's almost balmy. It's like it has this like oily, kind of like slick kind of formulations. Okay, I'm gonna apply it with just my finger. Blinding, is that the right word? Like it's not glittery, it's very high shine. Like it's shiny, it's like it's glassy almost because of the gel cream kind of formulation. Wow, this is beautiful. Like I don't know, like like with this Essence highlighter and this powder, I think I'm back into that highlighter era, and I'm not mad about it. So maybe like in another life I would think of getting that MS highlighter powder, illuminating powder or something. Oh, but this one, have we heard enough about the Perfector Major Dimension Eye Illusion eyeshadow duos? I think we have heard of them. Maybe we're a little bit over it already, but to me, I still want to talk about them because they're such an eventful adventure, knowing about them and seeing a lot of people testing them out. So these duos, they are not new to the market, so I don't think listening to me criticizing them would add any informational value to these conversations. But I think I would have to admit that I would want to get the brown duo. It's called Still at the Club. It has two shades, so it's duos, of course. There's two shades. It has like a warm brown. Like it's not warm. Like it's warmer than the other one. So there's a brown, like a neutral brown, and there's a lilac-y, like a bit taupey brown. So one is a bit neutral, one's a bit cooler, leaning grayer, purple. And a lot of people who tested this duo specifically, they said that it's not as glimmering, as sparkly as other duos. So if you want the duos for the claim that it has the most unique pearls in the market, you wouldn't want these brown duos specifically. But I want the color. This is anything is a brown with a purple undertone. That's for me. So I want it for the color. I want this duo because even the two colors in this duo, I believe, have different formula. So inconsistency is a thing that has been said about this product specifically, because each of these jewels, they have different finishes, and you wouldn't know what you get when you order them online. Like looking at the photo, you would know the level of glitteriness or the level of sparkliness that you would get from just online photos. So you have to like swatch them in store. But to me, because like I said, I don't care about the sparkle, I only care about the colors. And I don't know, like I don't know how to describe this kind of color. Like it's so grungy, it's so mucky, it's cool tone, it's neutral, it's dark. But $42, I don't know how much it would cost in Australian dollars. I'm not sure. 42 US dollars, maybe would be around 90. No, not really. Not 90, maybe 80, maybe 75 to 80 Australian dollars. Too so expensive. Like I feel like I could get 3 palettes, like 3 palettes from a mid-end brand, or like, wow, like 8 Australia's palettes, which is, wow, it has some of the sparkly like texture foil kind of shimmers too. Like I don't think that the pearl that is claimed to be very unique to the market would be that expensive for you to mark up the price like that. But I feel like I'm not surprised by the markup at all, because a lot of brands, they have the right to do it, because at the end of the day, that's a free market. You know how many units that you can sell based on the price that you said. Not that you know exactly, but you should have an expectations of the equations, because in economics we have the supply and demand curve. It depending on the quantity that you produce and the price. So in the business world, there's a theory like that, there's a rule like that. So you have the right, you are the price setter, so you can charge as much as you think that you would still make a profit based on how many units that you can sell. So I'm not gonna buy it, so I don't think it would be fair to say that, oh, $42 is too expensive. It's not expensive for a lot of people. So today I'm gonna do like a quick look. I'm gonna grab a shimmer from the Rust palette from Mel Cosmetic. The packaging, like if you feel like the packaging is a little bit odd, yes, this is kind of an old palette from the shop. So it's been there for a while. It's kind of like an overstock from the shop, so I got it on a deal. Like I don't see any problem with inside the palette. The back is okay, just the front it's faded a little bit. So the actual packaging has this rusty orange, like tarnish color, but the front, because it's faded, so it turns a bit green. I'm not sure, like I've got it on a huge discount, and maybe I'm naive to believe the one who sold this palette to me that, oh, it's just an issue with the packaging, that's why it's on a discount. I don't, like I checked this palette, this does look like a legit palette, and it's a third party seller in Vietnam, so I mean, maybe I got scammed into buying a knockoff palette, I don't know, but I have a trust in that shop. I tried this palette once. I used the shade called Red Dots, like more of a like a reddish brown shade. Yeah, it definitely has some red and pink in it, but looking at still at the Club Jewel, I think Ravage, this one, the shimmer shade, would be the closest to that color. It's like it's cool tone and it's brown and shimmering, so I'm gonna apply it as a base. Yeah, the color doesn't have the mucky, the rosy, the purple undertone like the Perfector one, but I actually want to test out this kind of applications, like using a metallic shimmers on my lid, and then I'm gonna top it with a glitter, like a glittery topper. I guess that would be the kind of technique that I'm gonna use with the Perfector duo. So like I'm not gonna use both of them at the same time. I'm gonna use maybe one, using it as one done eyeshadow, but generally apply like a dark shimmer shade on my lid like this. I'm using my fingers to like clean up the edge a little bit to give it a little bit of a diffuse crease. Very smoky, very sultry, but very blendable. I'm gonna dip back into the shade and I'm gonna run it just a little bit to my lower lash line. Okay. And to actually mimic the effect of the Perfector duo, I want to top on top of this shimmer shade this very beautiful sparkly glitter. It's from Judydoll. I got the shade G01. So if you look at it, it reminds me a little bit of Space Cowboy. I don't own Space Cowboy, but at this stage, you know what I mean when I say Space Cowboy. It's a glitter with basically no base in it, but it has a little bit of a brown reflect, a bit of a purple reflect, a bit of gold. Whoa. Isn't it so cool? I think this is, I don't know, like Perfector, he actually said that his duo is kind of like a slurry formula. It's like liquid base, and then they have a bunch of pigments and a bunch of pearls, a bunch of mica mixed in, and then maybe they pour it in the pan, they let it dry, and then they stamp the embossing on top. Maybe that's the process that he described. But is it really unique? Like the pearl that he described, is it really unique to the market? I don't know, like I'm still confused. Like I feel like the duos, they are definitely beautiful, but in the eyeshadows, don't you think that they don't have the access to that unique pearl to create their very sparkly, glittery, duochromic, multi-chromic eyeshadows, to the point that we have to pay $42 for a duo? There's a lot of things to say about the competitive markets. Like everybody tried to advertise that, oh, my product is unique, you should buy it. It's like you pay the price for the monopolistic nature of the product, but how do we know that we are not paying for the same thing? Finally, we have a lip product. This is the limited edition peptide lip tint from rhode. Is it called Freshly Baked? I'm not sure about the name of this product. Is it Freshly Baked or Cinnamon something? Oh, it's called Cinnamon Roll. It's a shimmery gloss with a hint of spy brown that smells like a warm glazed cinnamon roll. That is delicious. I want to try the rhode peptide lip tint. I don't know, like it's, I don't know, like I have a lot of tinted lip balm, tinted lip oils, a lot of like lip products in my general already. But I want to get into the hype. I want to know between the Rhode lip balm, Summer Fridays, and maybe Naturium. Oh, the all are Henriksons. I want to know between those lip balms, what is the intriguing, what is the appealing quality about them that people want to talk about them all the time. Like, it's either between those few lip balms that actually keeps people talking about them. I want to try it. I want to try it. Yeah, it had this tint of brown with gold sparkle in it. So I feel like it's not something that, oh, so unique. There's something like crazily unique, but because it's a limited edition, it's cinnamon roll scented. Guys, like cinnamon roll scented. I don't know. I want a cinnamon roll. Like maybe the point is maybe I should get a cinnamon roll instead of that lip tint, but it is definitely beautiful. Like the sheer brown. Like sometimes with a lot of shade, maybe like the shade espresso. Like I want that shade, but it might look a little bit deep. And I got samples of the Summer Fridays brown sugar. Like I went to Mecca and asked about that lip balms, and the assistant, he gave me like a little samples, and I feel like the shade is also a bit dark. For some of those brown shades, they tend to be a bit dark, like a bit darker than my skin tone can handle. So with that sheer hint of brown, I think that's a nice entry level for me to get to know brown lip balms. And I actually get this Lanolips 101 ointment in a scent glazed donut last year, and I'm gonna tell you, I like this kind of like gourmand sweet pastry bakery type of scent, but it's a bit sweet. And like I said, I got a sample of the brown sugar shade from Summer Fridays. It's also very sweet as well, so I'm not sure. Like the idea of a bakery inspired lip balms, it sounds very nice, but like in practice it could be too strong. I would prefer like a peach, like to be honest. Between this and a peach scented kind of a lip balm, I would prefer peach. So I decided to make a concoction that looks maybe somewhat like that kind of shade. I have this e.l.f. Molten Metals lip gloss. It's a champagne lip gloss with a lot of gold glitter in it. Sometimes I feel like this lip gloss, the glitter is quite chunky, and one of the logistic issues of that lip gloss is that the glitters, it looks very, very obvious. Like it looks too apparent to the point that I think of this lip gloss and I look at that lip tint and I feel like, oh, do we actually feel the graininess from the actual glitter on our lips? And I don't want to feel that feeling a lot. Like with this one, sometimes I can get away with it. And the actual new makeup that I am gonna try right now is this Tonymoly Jelly Lip Melt. This is the last year limited edition jewels. There are two shades, like two flavors. One again, these are all about the scent and the flavor. This is toasted marshmallow and this is hot chocolate. So the hot chocolate one, it has a brown chocolatey tint in it, so I think it would be nice if I mix this with the gloss. I think a good idea is that I'm gonna dig it out using the end of one of my brushes. I'm not sure if this is hygienic, but like digging my finger in the pot might be less hygienic. I don't know. Like I don't know if I enjoy this balm in a pot kind of format, but it is so cute. It smells like hot chocolate. It smells exactly like chocolate, and I think it looks like a little jello cup, like a little jelly cup. It looks really cute, but I have to say I'm genuinely not a huge fan of the lip balm in a pot thing like this. I can see it's quite like the rhode one already. I'm gonna mix in a little bit more e.l.f. lip gloss in it to thin it out, because it's quite thick when it comes out of the pot. So just a little bit about my concoctions, because I mixed this lip gloss with like a thicker balm. I feel like I don't feel the glitter as much. This is still a little bit of a scratchy, like sandpaper-ish feeling from the glitters, but not as much because of the thicker balm that I mixed in. And by the way, the rhode lip tint, the rhode cinnamon roll lip tint, it actually comes as a combo, like comes with, it's not comes with, so it's a, oh, it's arriving so low. Oh, I thought you can only get it as a duo with the pocket blush. But like, it would be nice if you can get it as a gift set. You got the lip tint, and then you got the rhode pocket blush duo. No, the rhode pocket blush. It's also pretty famous. And with the pocket blush, I want to get the Toasted Teddy shade, also Slipnica. Like I do want to eventually try rhode, just like a TikTok Facebook brand, just to see like how famous it actually is. Is it worth being that viral on TikTok? I'm not sure, like, should we say famous on TikTok or viral on TikTok? Because everybody can say something when viral on TikTok, when it's not actually viral. I don't have TikTok, so I don't really know what I'm saying, but I mean, based on what I second-handedly saw from other platforms like Facebook or YouTube, I don't know, is it a good benchmark to judge how viral it is on TikTok when people say it's went viral? Or maybe it's real famous, like back in the day when it's like famous, it's real famous. Or maybe it's just viral on YouTube. But I feel like there's more punch about being viral and being famous in the past compared to being on TikTok these days. It doesn't feel the same. Okay, this is the last part of today's video. Usually I will pull out a makeup release or like a collection that I feel like it shouldn't exist, it shouldn't be released. And this time, once again, I want to talk about the Skin SKKN, the whole Seal Matte lip color, also the holiday palette, and lip liners and lip gloss. So they released, I think a while ago, not too long ago, this post on Trendmood, 26th of October, the Seal Matte lip color. So they have 10 shades of nude matte lipstick, and actually, like, don't quote me on this, I've heard that this formulation is quite dry. This is like the drying traditional matte lipstick in bullet. I don't think that you could make this kind of formula these days and would get a good sale out of it. Like, people don't like it anymore. Even judging at this photo, her lips look dry. Don't you feel it? Like, or like, because this is the iconic matte lip that we see from Kim, so we would accept that, oh, this is the look that we should all aspire. I absolutely don't have anything against nude lipsticks, but I don't see any innovative aspect of this collection. And then looking at the holiday palette, is it a bit too late to release a holiday palette? Yes. it's already too late to release a very forgettable palette that people wouldn't even want to look at it during this day. I think this is already a very grounded, a very saturated period of time with new makeup, so people would think of getting the thing that they want a few months ago during the sales. Now you want to release a palette, and now trying to get people attention, trying to get people reviews, getting in, and then it will be too late for the other people to get on that trend. So is it too late? Yes. Is it too boring? Also yes. This brand reminds me of concrete. Like how boring it is reminds me of concrete. Like that's, I don't know, like this era you release this kind of packaging and this kind of product, these kind of nude colors, I feel extremely bored by just looking at it. And the palette, just talk a little bit about the palette. I feel like I've seen it before, even from this brand, even from KKW when it was still a brand. We see it in Makeup by Mario. What else that people can see from this palette that they wouldn't have already seen from their lifetime watching makeup content and doing their own makeup? I think I'll give it a credit that I really like the arrangement of the eyeshadows. I think the shimmers mixed with the matte and then they stagger it on the next row. I feel like it's great, like quad arrangement. So if you look at a quad, you would have two mattes and two shimmer. They are symmetrical to each other, so it's very intuitive when you look at it and you think of a quad. You want a direction of a quad, so like at any quad you look at, you got two mattes, you got two shimmers. That quite intuitive, that quite like easy to understand. But is it what you want people to see? Like, is it your demographic? I think this brand's a bit lost. Even Kylie Cosmetics, I would put them at the same vein, a celebrity makeup brand. Although I don't believe that they are real celebrities. This might be controversial. But even Kylie Cosmetics, it has its own aesthetic. So it's very Gen Z, it's very pink. This makeup brand, it doesn't know. It doesn't seem like it knows its demographic. So everything it does is just throwing products out to the market. Like I feel like this brand is a bit lost, and I actually feel pretty lost looking at this brand. I believe the products, I think the quality is great, and I've heard good thing about the formulations of the eyeshadow. But we can find quality somewhere else. What would make you unique? Like Patrick Ta, he said that his pearl is unique. I don't hear anyone say anything about the uniqueness of this brand. So what are you going from there? So that's it for today's video. It's getting dark. Like every time I try to film this kind of video, it's got dark very quickly. I don't know why, but I really enjoy the feeling of testing new makeup. I've been doing this for the whole week already. Like every time I do my makeup, they are just new makeup that I already bought for me to test, and now I can make it into this kind of video, which is really fun. And I will have more testing new makeup videos, so maybe just keep an eye out for them. Once again, I'm Cloudy, and hopefully we see each other again. Bye.